Yo, yo, yo. All right, I'll show you what I'm up to here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk into this mic. Let me see if I can turn that down. I'm going to use the condenser here, which is not going to sound as professional, but it allows me to work while I'm talking. What I got to do right now, I got to put this speaker into this amp. And I'm just doing this for a friend. To help him out here. Yeah. So if you notice the title, we're talking about men versus women, the modern dating dynamic. Let's see here. I need to grab this bad boy. A bunch of my tools here. You know, as a father and as someone that tries to give fatherly advice to my children, you know, young men, young women, growing up in this world, and you're trying to prepare them to be successful, right? To have an abundant life, a fulfilling life, an enriching life, something that you know they'll be satisfied with and happy. It will actually lead to joy. And without considering all the other dynamics of economy and politics and just the problems that are presented to us through the media that may or may not even be problems. It's like climate change and all these different things that get us all stressed out about. Maybe not you necessarily, but the general public, right? They've always got some boogeyman that you need to be afraid of and focused on, and oftentimes it turns out to be a nothing burger. It's not even really something you have to worry about. Yeah, it must be just this one. But of course, the family unit has been eroded. It's not what it was. It's not on a good trajectory. And especially, you know, I guess the leading type of trends that come from America that infiltrate the whole rest of the world, it's not just an American problem now, right? It's like seemingly the technology and everything has worked to divide men and women, to pit them against each other. You know, wherever you are on the viewpoint of is the man wrong, is the woman wrong, that's what they want you in, right? Is this left-right paradigm. What team are you on? You know, I was listening to a guy this morning, King of the Betas, and he's kind of chosen to make his whole channel like he's the nice guy, he's the soft guy, he's the one capitulating to women, do the dishes, you know, help mama out, be the, you know, get the honey-do list done, do, you know, and that men need to step it up. Which, you know, on a certain level, I don't disagree. It's like men should always be in a process of self-development, right? That should be pre-wired into us from our forefathers. That should be generational. You're always looking to do better, be better, level up, take that next step in your own progress. That should just be inherent to the fabric that we're made of. That should just be instilled in us through our culture and our upbringing. So that wouldn't be like some noble thing. But at the same time, where's the motivation in this society for the young man? And I think, collectively, men and women do need to look at that. What's the motivation for a woman in this era to want to go be a participator in like a more traditional, valued, family-oriented process where you really are going to have to submit to what you chose, which is to be a mother, to be a wife, to be, focused on that family unit in a way that's just not as normal as it used to be, if there are any good examples of it anymore. It's just not, it's not what we're seeing being produced by this society. That's not what's going on now. Why am I still attached? Oh, I got the ones on the side. That's what it is. And I could use my drill to take these out. And even though this amp's a little chewed up, I just don't want to, I don't want to like miss or something and hit his Tolex. This is like a nice, unique Tolex, so. I don't, for my own amps, I really don't give a shit. I just thrash them. I figure they're beaters. They're meant to go out and be banged up. It's like, that's the whole point of this stuff, is to protect the cab. But, boy, look at that. That thing is a lopsided screw there. But yeah, so what does the future look like if men have no motivation to go out and start families? They're checking out of the dating marketplace. They're saying, we don't want to even try to procreate because the odds are stacked against us. It's it's a rigged game, and I'm not speaking for all men, but it just seems like there's collectively in this next generation of young men that are saying, yeah, we're not trying to wife anybody up. We're not trying to actually take things to that next level, be a provider, be a leader, be all these things, because really what happens when you do that is you get kicked in the balls. And you've got a legal system that's simultaneously motivating and creating advantages for the relationship to dissolve and for the kids to not have that stability. And, I really think if there is a solution, which, because people are always going to say, the man has to do this, the woman has to do this. And yet, what caused the problem? Was it really the man or the woman that caused the problem? Or was it technology? Was it unregulated, unconsidered technology that went out and infiltrated the minds of the youth and perverted them? Like, if you have the whole dating marketplace, which once was taboo 15, 20 years ago, now everybody is going through these channels to meet each other and have some kind of romantic interlude of sorts, and that becomes a meat market and perverts the process to where it doesn't create a good result. It actually ends up backfiring on the whole society. Isn't the problem then the social networking, the dating sites, the way that technology has modernized dating? And I think a lot of people can acknowledge and see that that is actually the core of the issue. So I don't think you'll ever get back to family-oriented societies in any culture in any country, anywhere, until the 800-pound gorilla is addressed. That you have like a mind manipulating, almost drug inducing, hypnotic type platforms and apps with the clicking to the left, clicking to the right, just turning it into a consumeristic, very narcissistic, stale process by design, obviously, to monetize, to create that revenue flow for the creator, but not to create nourishing, enriching communities and family-oriented units where people come together for the purpose of bringing up their progeny and their offspring. It's like, what was the intent of this stuff? And why would we expect it to lead to any other result? It was purely a process of monetization. Nothing was considered in the idea of social networking or modern dating sites of how that would affect the family unit, or even just affect us as a people on the level of our basic morality and considerations towards each other, and what was good, right, and true, and what actually, was a boundary of sorts. With this technology, there really is no boundary. There is no common courtesy. There is no consideration to what do we want the end result to look like. It's just about how do we line the pockets of NVIDIA and Meta and the Alphabet company and Google and on and on and on. I could just go on and on. Which is fine, if you want to get fucking rich as a young man, you're going to go probably buy stocks like Meta and Tesla. I know people think Tesla is, got all these issues, but the reality is they're going to build all the robots. They're leading, AI with NVIDIA and these other companies. All these companies are positioning themselves to own the world. They already do, in a pseudo sense. But it's only going to get worse as this progresses. And there's no consideration to rights, freedom, principles, morality, anything that would actually fucking matter as an end result of what we would want the products to produce. See, we used to buy products that did shit to do something specifically. Now we buy entertainment that does shit we don't even want it to do, and then don't get anything else done. But, if everybody's going to just be a gelatinous blob staring at a screen, having some fucking Fantasyland approach to their relationships where it's treating it all like you're picking a centerfold off a screen, like there's anything legitimate about that process anyway. Why would we expect any different result? There's no consideration or true due diligence to the process. It's just a fucking ready, fire, aim. It's just throw the shit at the wall and see how it sticks. I gotta unplug some shit here. I'm gonna have to get this guy out. Yeah, so honestly, I don't see any of this getting better until people opt for localized AI, localized type of technology that's communal and that's based off the region. And it's the same concept of the fucking supposed way that this country was formed, that you wanted a balance of powers, and so you weren't going to have just some, we didn't even have the federal government in the incarnation, right? It was this concept of like one rule or an overlord of sorts was the antithesis of what we were trying to avoid. We didn't want to have that end result. We wanted to have diversity. We wanted to have a social experiment that allotted for independence and differing of opinions, really. I mean, just to state it simply. But now we don't need that, right? We don't need that with technology. We can just have a fucking one world technology that becomes the authority of everything and the governing of our mental in all regards. And we're supposed to just accept that carte blanche as, quote, Americans, freedom-loving Americans. That's our patriotism. There's not even a process as we change our government over to technology and turn that into the orbiter and the oracle of truth. That's not going to work out well. And when the forefathers talked about having to be vigilant, I mean, this shit was presented in a way where vigilance wasn't even an option. That wasn't a consideration, nor was it. I mean, even the ones that are creating it talked about it while simultaneously doing nothing. And as disgusting as this sounds, and as ridiculous and absurd as it sounds, I think it's all actually setting up to circumvent the normal birth process, to circumvent the way that people actually procreate. They want to have artificial wombs. They want to have technology involved in our genetic and DNA process at the very core, every aspect of it. Because, of course, if men and women get to a point where they can't even procreate, they can't even have children because we're so fucking dysfunctional with the narcissism and the ego and the serotonin release of the hearts and the swiping left and right, and there is no even concept of the family unit, then the species is dying off. Well, guess what? Technology has a solution. You don't have to worry, folks. We'll have your babies for you. You can fuck robots. It'll be great. We'll take the seed of the man and put it artificially into the womb of the woman, and we'll have a fucking, technology orgy to keep humanity going. It sounds ridiculous, but I mean, it's like a sci-fi movie happening, right? Why would you, if it's not all innocent and there is an agenda behind it, why do you ultimately want to completely divide the genders to a point where there's so much dysfunction that society can no longer move forward? It can't coexist. It's going to self-defeat, self-delete. Well, I mean, didn't these guys talk about it for years? I mean, everybody was afraid of this and all these other, and what's in the food and the air and everything. Well, wouldn't the greatest way to have population control is just stop the man and the woman from being productive together and being able to do what they're naturally supposed to do? Which it shouldn't even really need that much explanation, but now because of all the other dynamics and things influencing this reality, it does. It requires it. Jesus, I need it. Yeah, this is why I don't do this. Because, and maybe if I just did it, I'd get better at it, but if I'm doing work, right, and I'm focusing, I'm going to be like 10 times faster than this. Whereas if I'm talking to you guys, I ain't getting shit done at any kind of pace. Look at all these spider webs. Jaminy. Here, I'll turn that this way for y'all. Yeah, you know, these amps can kill you. If you touch capacitors on the inside, they hold a charge. Damn it. Yeah, if I didn't know better, I'd say that was a Black Widow web. Just the sound it made when I ripped into it, but in any case. That's a nice speaker. Thought something bit me there for a minute. Oh, man. Okay, we gotta undo this here. But yeah, so it'll hold a charge, and it won't just fry your ass. It'll stop your heart. It'll kill you, so you gotta be careful. There's ways to take the charge out of the capacitors if you're actually going to work on it. I'm not going to do that though right now. And I'm not super proficient on working on amps. I do it for my own stuff a little bit here and there. Only because I've had other people do work on my amps and they do such a shitty job that now I'm taking it more seriously. But I prefer working on guitars for sure. But yeah, right? So if you want to get rich in the days ahead, since nobody's going to be working, supposedly, all the fucking robots are going to do everything. Shit, I won't need to plow a driveway. Won't even need to plow nothing. You don't even need to plow your wife. You got a robot to do everything. I mean, if the robot can maintain your vehicle, it'll fix the amp for you while it's at it. It'll fix the tool you're not going to use because now it uses the tool for you. So you're going to invest in the robotics. You're going to invest in Amazon because, of course, everywhere you look around you is a gigantic warehouse. So for you to be prosperous in the modern age, you have to put your money into everything you despise and hate. That's the system you got right now. Because these are all monopolies that control the market now. You don't have any say if the little guy can have any innovative spirit and actually do something to counter it. No, they're just going to buy the fuck out of them, put them off onto their sunset trail while they take the technology and centralize it, suppress it, do whatever, turn you more into that modern slave. Is that the system people want? Apparently everybody's okay with it. Great. So, your question as a man at this point is, do you have any morality left, Are you even willing to follow your own intuition and do what's good, right, and true? Or do you play along to get along? Because if you're intelligent at all, you know how to play this fucking game. You know how you could get ahead in it. You just follow the fucking scumbags, right? That keep winning while everybody else is losing. And they don't give a shit about their marriages or their families. They just fucking recycle them, turn them in, trade, 2-for-1 special, whatever. It's all just narcissism anyway. Walking red carpets and fucking pasty faces with chemicals all over them. Dressing up a pig. So what the fuck, So, I mean, if you want to do the right thing in this world, it almost forces you in to a state of a minimalist type of lifestyle, which you see a lot of men doing. They're like, I don't need a bunch. Just give me a small little place, man. Give me something easy to maintain. I would rather have my time. I'd rather have the space to go out and walk the trail, focus on my health, focus on my own peace, my own serenity. And many men are becoming very selfish in that, myself included. I'm like, I don't got a lot of time for this fucking bullshit. I just want to enjoy my life and do what I like to do, which is work on shit. It's what I enjoy. But it's hard to ignore the demise of our species and not say anything about it or have any considerations to it. And I don't think that's right either. So it's like, what do you fucking do as the modern man with a society that's hell-bent on destroying everything that actually matters to you? Because what the fuck does it matter if you have no independent spirit, you have no independent innovation, independent creativity? It's all centralized, socialized AI nonsense that's supposedly superior. That, you know, why would we want to even allow something to take our very art from us, you know, our music from us? We're so stupid as a species. We don't covet our own creativity, that God-given co-creative spirit. We don't covet that. That's fucking crazy. That shows you how detached we are from our own internal spirit, from our own internal light, our compass, you know, our guide. Okay. I'm going to take this reverb tank off here, but I got to make sure I put it back that way because that will always fuck up the reverb. So I'm just going to lay that like that. What'd I do with that speaker, y'all? What the fuck did I do with that speaker? There it is. That's the one I took out. This is the one I'm putting in, right? Oh, that was smart. Yeah, this is the one I'm putting in. Okay. Well, now that I got this separated, just going to lay that down. It'll make it a little easier for me. Let me keep these in the right position. Yeah, I'll put this right here. But I think a lot of men are realizing none of this is by accident. It's all by design. And it's not shit that you wanted or that you even necessarily supported at the core level. Like, you didn't have a say in it. And it is destroying everything that a man would stand for. And then, you know, the men who are the smart guys in the rooms are the dumbasses that invest and put everything back into their own demise and their own defeat. That's the fucking perverted circular loop of destruction that we're in. The symphony of destruction, the spiral down. Is humanity investing in its own demise in perpetuity until it gets the said result? I mean, somebody's got to call that out. And that's corroborated by the fucking result we're getting. Hello? Yeah, I got to do a better job of setting this up so if I'm working on something, I can show you guys what I'm doing. Here, let's see if I can tweak this just a little. Yeah, you're not going to see in here right now. That's just the way that goes. All right. But I think men figured it out first, and women are just now starting to wake up that we got a real fucking problem, and it's not just men that are the problem. You know, it's a collective issue that both genders are going to have to solve. You know, the woman may submit to the man and say, "Hey, lead me out of my own chaos. Lead us out of this insanity that's ensuing." But you would have to have the willing participant in the first place. You'd have to have the woman that actually trusts and believes and sees that definitive vision that the man has as a worthy pursuit and does require a certain level of detachment from all this bullshit. And a discipline to be detached from it. It would be the only way you could even try to eke out something that's organic and natural. And will we get that? You know, I mean, it's either that, folks, or it's artificial wombs, and Google's going to be having your babies, you know? Meta's going to be having your babies. And they're going to fucking, you know, quality inspect them and get them Wi-Fi ready and make sure they got all the fucking latest upgrades just in time for human adventures. So you can have your cyborg fucking baby that you don't even raise, because AI will be educating your children. AI with no regulation, with no consideration to rights, freedoms, principles, morality, family-oriented values, your particular faith structure, your particular, you know, we don't need colonistic or decentralized technology that works for the region and the cultural values of the localized unit. We just need a fucking socialistic, communistic overlord to tell us what to fucking do. And that's what we're supposed to be now. Right? Is all for it. Buy into it. Invest into it. That's your future. It's the only way forward. Just, you know, stop fighting it, because you know that's where the money's at, bud. You may hate Walmart, but they're leading robotics right now. People think Walmart's done for because of, you know, retail went by the wayside in so many ways. No. Walmart's just another cog on the wheel too. They got, you know, a whole plan to make everything just they lie to you, right? They tell you, oh, the self-help kiosks weren't working, so we're taking them away in some markets, whatever. No, they're just taking a step backwards to revamp the technology, to bring something like the first one wasn't invasive enough, you know, entirely more invasive, entirely more capable to address the theft issues that they're dealing with, entirely more capable to create an experience for the consumer that frankly, they're really going to like. They're just going to love it. It's going to be great. You're going to love working with the Walmart robots. You know, McDonald's acts like they're struggling, right? Oh, it's so difficult. We're having a tough time. People don't want our fucking shit food. But of course, their plan is not, hey, let's make some better food. Let's, you know, actually feed people a decent meal for a decent price. No, let's double down. The worst, shittier plastic food and We'll deliver it to you with a drone. You know? We're going to make it convenient for you to get that shit. How are two people supposed to have a productive relationship if they both eat McDonald's every day? Your body can't even work correctly. Your mind can't even work correctly. And then you're supposed to eke out anything as like a productive family unit or society. You're supposed to raise kids on McDonald's? No, you can't do it. They're just going to be sick and diseased. The minds are sick and diseased. People can't think clearly. They can't do anything productive. They're fucked. Let's see. Did I just fuck that up? Because if I... No, that'll work. Because if that wire comes over here, I got to make sure it fits correctly. I probably should have put that down. I think the wire will reach fine, though. It should be fine. Yo, OTW's live, huh? Live from Montreal, Canada. We'll say cheers to the OTW here. Cheers. Yeah, maybe I'll jump off this and go jump on OTW's. What else we got going here? We got anyone in the chat? Got anybody here? Shooting the shit? Capacitor discharge sounds gross. What's up, Thunder Chicken? Cheers. Reset, duh. Oh yeah, silly me for saying anything, because it's the reset is the encompassing term to embody everything that I've said here. I saw a flock of seagulls. There's a flock of turkeys outside my window. Did you see them out here? I don't think it was. No. I have seen the turkeys a few times in the last few months, but dude, I got one with the Cannabis Rex in it. I'll show it to you right now. That's my amp. Mine is Sonic Blue Tolex with a Cannabis Rex speaker in it. And I fucking love that amp. It sounds incredible. Jeez, there's a lot of fucking action in the chat here. What up, Salted Cedar? Yeah, there's no solving problems. You can only control your input and outputs. It must self-implode while others have built alternative solutions outside the system. You're pretty much on point, Ascending Ancient. So all you can do is affect your own discipline, your own cause and effect, your own passion, your own inspiration, your own vision, your own life purpose. The way you define things, the way you define yourself, this is the shit you can affect. The way you lead your house, your family, the way you interact with the technology. Miyagi says basically IQ and ambition declare where you eat. Sort of, man. Did you hear what I said though, Mr. Miyagi? That's not just it. There's another very vital component. It's called morality, brother. You can know with your own IQ how to be a fucking billionaire and not do it because your morality prevents you. And anyone that wants to say that's a cop-out is not being honest with what's actually happening. Patrick fell for the hat trick. If you fell for the flat E, there's your sign. Check yourself. I don't know what you mean. Oh, cool. You got a Peavey with a 55 vintage Marshall speaker? Nice. I'd like to play through that. That would be fucking cool. I'm a big Peavey fan, man. The first Peavey amp I ever had was a Peavey Bandit. I actually love Peaveys. The Black Widow speakers I used to build all my PA speakers when I was a kid. Their little Hot Rod Deluxe killer, that thing was fucking incredible. I love that. Okay, so let me, before I put this on, I'll put that speaker cable back on. Where the fuck did I put that? Is it under here? Oh! What'd you do with it, Mr. Miyagi? God, Mr. Miyagi, you fucking love me, don't you? You love to fucking hang out and try to shit talk dick. I appreciate you though, dude. I don't like yes men around me at a certain level. Like, I'd rather have people challenge my ideas and be skeptical or, you know, shit test me at whatever level, because the reality is I could care less about yours or anyone else's validation. I'd rather you stand for something and have your own views, whether we align or not. Okay. But I think you really do have a secret fucking obsession with dick. Oh, Miyagi. You love you some dick. Okay, yeah, that'll work perfect because the speaker jack is there. It's like I knew what I was doing. I'm gonna lay this down just to lay that in there so I can get a little bit better. And then the reverb goes this way. Perfect. Okay. Wish there's a little better place to hold it there until I get it started. Once I get these top ones in, I should be able to just turn it over and then do the rest. But gotta get that going first. Okay. But yeah, I think I'll start doing some more morning streams grand rising streams, I guess you'd say. Just to touch on a few issues that are top of mind. I doubt I'll do them for long, but maybe for the next month or so, I'll put one or two out every other day or so. But I think that's enough for today. I don't really want to belabor the topic. I should have been more engaged with the chat, but frankly, I was just a little overwhelmed with my own ineptness here on fixing this amp, and just how much trying to keep my thoughts on point and be communicative while doing this is proving a little bit difficult for me. But surprisingly so, because that's all I do when I work is I, contemplate things and listen to things. But I think I probably just need a little practice, or I'm a little rusty, a little out of practice. Yeah, that worked good. What do we got there, Indie Groove? Pseudo-philosophy in a virtual context. What's morality to an unbeliever? It's nothing but a choice. What's morality to an unbeliever? What's morality to a believer? It's nothing but a choice. So why the subcontext? But only to reveal your own agenda-driven type of presentation. That you can't just be real about it. Dick, you need to get saved and accept Plastic Jesus as your Lord and Savior forever and ever. Amen. And see, this is where men are so fucking retarded, is we would let this kind of shit divide us. Denominations and doctrines and different views on God. You know, I claim God in my own right. You claim God in your own right. And so now we have to be at odds because we might have a different interpretation. Even though your own motherfucking book tells you we all see through smoked glass. We've all got a limited perspective of the truth and that God's a mystery. So none of us have the fucking full picture on this shit. And yet we're so quick. You gotta do this. You gotta do it. Your way of communing with God is not right. Go tell some fucking Aboriginal native in the rainforest this shit, Mr. Miyagi. I don't want to fucking hear it. It's fucking retarded, dude. Do better. Think better. Use your goddamn brain. Should be ashamed of that fucking retarded type of conjecture that's only meant to fucking further exasperate the problem of being unnecessarily divided on stupid topics that you don't even know is certain. Even you claim it's all a faith-based argument. You've put your faith into something. Congratulations. Do you want a fucking trophy? You want a prize? Is that spurging? Morality to a believer comes from God and farmers. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, not even to a believer. I think to someone that knows God would also see it that way, Mr. Miyagi. You see what I'm saying? Someone that walks with God and knows God, a creative expression of the Most High, would also know that and speak directly to that. All right, I think that's good. Oh yeah, I gotta hook up this first, and then we should have this done. I need to replace the input jack on this too. So I ordered one up because this little, I mean, if it's the same size, I'm just gonna fucking screw the nut right on the 1/4-inch jack. But I need to get the whole jack because I can't find that nut anywhere. They don't have it at the hardware store or anything. So I'll probably just replace the jack because that seems like a cheap plasticky piece of crap. And the one I got is a Neutrik. Or no, it's a Switchcraft. I don't know. It's a better jack. And it will be a good upgrade. So I'm going to put that in. That'll give me a little more experience soldering because I do believe that's going to be a solder job on that. You know, one thing you want to keep in mind when you do a project like this is you should never have anything left over as far as a part. And so I always try to have a few screws that I leave out. Because I'm a screw loose. And I'd like my amp to be somewhat similar. It gives the tone that I'm desiring. Now I got one screw. I was like, where did that come from? Oh yeah, that was for the wire that I released for the reverb. You gotta go back and remember what you forgot. And it's amazing how quick you forget, right? I do that when I'm organizing workspaces and stuff. You put things in a bunch of different places, purpose in a place, but that's not always good enough. Sometimes you have to give yourself a visual cue or something, so you know how to reference it and go back to it. All right. We're rocking. Okay, folks, have a great day. Peace, love, a basket full of kind. You may catch me over on OT Dubs or one of these other shows this morning because I got more work to do and I feel like shooting the shit a little bit. Let me read these last. It sets you free from problems. Children of light sleeps like babies at night. That's just one huge benefit. So your blissful ignorance allows you to sleep well at night, and my facing the truth with courage and my own insecurities allows me to sleep well at night. Again, congratulations. You found your path. I applaud you in standing on what you see as being rooted in truth. It seems a little short-sighted to me, but hey, to each their own. What people fail to realize is that men can't control God or answer to his role. You can't look to others for your truth. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Well said, mind stretcher. On that note, we'll end on that. And thank you guys for coming by. I appreciate y'all hanging out for a minute. We'll do it again sometime.